Now, another thing that I shouldn't have to come to the floor to talk about, and it'll only take me about 3 or 4 minutes, is something that I'm still hearing these questions about my intent to my objection to the nomination of William Evanina. These are the same questions that I heard last year when I initially placed my hold on the Evanina amendment. And by the way, my hold is printed in the record, and the rules of this Senate require all members that put a hold on a nomination or a bill within 2 days after doing that to put something in the record. And most senators aren't following that rule of the Senate. So if you've got some disagreement about something and you put a secret hold on, and somebody ought to sit down and wants to talk to you and see what's wrong, how are they going to know who it is? That's why in 2011, on a vote of 96-4, that Wyden and I got these rules so there should be no secret holds in the United States Senate. So I'm back here again. This statement will be the 4th time since June the 4th, 2018, that I've publicly expressed my reason for this hold, and I spoke here on the Senate floor. Seems to me no one has been listening to what I've been saying. What's unusual about that? As I've said repeatedly, the Judiciary Committee has experienced difficulty in obtaining relevant documents and briefings from the Justice Department and the Office of Director of National Intelligence. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein personally, I want to emphasize, personally assured me that the Judiciary Committee would receive equal access to information provided to the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence with regard to negotiations about the pending subpoenas from that committee related to the 2016 election controversies. I haven't received equal access as promised. On August the 7th, 2018, I wrote to the Justice Department and pointed out that the House Intelligence Committee received documents related to Bruce Orr on May the 8th, 2018, that the Committee on Judiciary did not receive. And without objection, Mr. President, I'd like to have that letter inserted in the record.
Without objection.
The department flat out denied that those records had been provided to the House Intelligence Committee. Now, that wasn't the truth. After my staff confronted the department, we eventually received some documents. There's no reason for stonewalling. There's no reason for lack of cooperation, plain and simple. In that August 2018 letter, I asked for additional documents based on my equal access agreement with Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein. To date, the department still hasn't provided a response. I later learned that the Justice Department has taken the position that Director Coates has prohibited them from sharing the requested records with the committee. Then, in addition to the outstanding records request, in May 2018, the Director of National Intelligence and the Justice Department provided a briefing in connection with the pending House Intelligence subpoena to which no Senate Judiciary Committee member was invited. The Judiciary Committee's attempt to schedule an equivalent briefing has been ignored. The lack of cooperation then, obviously, as any one of the 100 senators would do, the bureaucracy, the faceless bureaucrats are forcing our hand. Congressional oversight is a constitutional requirement. It seems that every administration, Republican or Democrat, that I'm forced to remind them of that constitutional responsibility of oversight. And that responsibility cuts both ways. The executive branch can't hide documents from one congressional committee, especially one which clearly has oversight jurisdiction over the matter, and to provide the very same documents, at the same time provide those very same documents to another committee. In this case, my colleagues on the Senate Intelligence Committee have received these documents. Now, I don't blame them at all for getting that information. I say to them, full speed ahead with whatever you need to do. However, that doesn't mean that this senator has to stand down. Quite the opposite. I'm going to fight until I get what's been promised to me, but more importantly, promised to 21 members of the Judiciary Committee. I think it's worthy to note that the authorizing resolution that created the Senate Intelligence Committee made clear that other committees still have authority to review intelligence documents. For example, Senate Resolution 400 explicitly reserves for other standing committees, such as the Judiciary Committee, independent authority to, quote, study and review any intelligence activity to the extent that such activity directly affects a matter otherwise within the jurisdiction of such committee, end of quote. And continuing to quote, and to obtain full and prompt access to the product of the intelligence activities of any department or any agency, end of quote, within that jurisdiction. The information I seek is connected to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. That court is within the jurisdiction of the Judiciary Committee. Now, to be fair, the Justice Department has provided access to FISA applications and some of the relevant background material on more than one occasion. One must give credit where credit is due. However, if they've provided the Judiciary Committee access to that information, what is holding them back from showing the rest? The secrecy just doesn't make any sense. And it's secrecy that often prevents accountability. I won't release my hold until the Justice Department upholds its equal access agreement with me and the Judiciary Committee. And in no way am I questioning Mr. Evanina's credentials. Director Coates and others have spoken highly of him. The fact of the matter is, if they really do believe in his credentials, then they should produce the requested documents that they have promised me more than once. I yield the floor.